Moody was hired in February of 2008, resigned May 9th of this year. Records show Moody resigned with insufficient notice and a reason was not provided. Channel 3's Michelle Herron sorts out the details.
Now, we obtained these documents that show Brian Moody III alerted Chief Fred Fletcher of his resignation on May 9th. In the two-sentence letter, he thanks Chief Fletcher for the opportunities he was given at the department. Now, we also obtained another letter dated the same day, this one from Chief Fletcher to Mayor Andy Burke, reporting Moody's resignation. The sudden resignation comes 4 days after Moody was placed on paid administrative leave. Now, Moody is the subject of an unnamed federal investigation and an internal affairs investigation by the police department. Moody served as a Chattanooga police officer for 9 years. Now, this is a story we're following very closely. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we learn more. Reporting in the studio, I'm Michelle Herron, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Former Officer Moody was involved in a fatal shooting in 2012. He was placed on administrative leave with pay pending the outcome of that investigation. Moody later returned to work after the investigation showed he had followed procedures on the day of that shooting.
Moody's personnel records also show he transferred 10 personal days to Officer Nathan Paul Rogers in 2014. That was about a year before Rogers lost his battle with cancer. We will continue to follow all of the updates on the federal investigation on our website, WRCBTV.com. Well, the Affordable Care Act may survive next year, but North Georgia patients who depend on it are now learning there's a catch. Starting in July, the health insurance provider Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia will stop covering emergency room visits it deems are unnecessary. Channel 3's Kate Smith is live in the studio to explain what this means for you, Kate.
The insurance provider sent letters explaining the new policy to patients. It says if patients with individual policies go to the ER and it's not an emergency, they will be stuck footing the bill. The company is steering patients who do not need emergency care to their personal physicians or urgent care clinics. They don't want people to use the emergency room as their primary health care. A spokesperson with the company says patients should use their best judgment, but some people are worried patients who belong in the ER may not go.
I think it's crazy because, I mean, if you get a cut about that long and they're saying it's not an emergency and they expect you to pay for it, I think it's stupid.
There are some exceptions to the new policy. It won't apply to kids under 13 years old, members who don't have an urgent care clinic within 15 miles of their address, or visits on Sundays and major holidays. I checked with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. A spokesperson here in Chattanooga says no one with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee coverage will be impacted by this change. Live in the studio, Kate Smith, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Kate, thank you. Fire broke out in a classroom at Central High School today. It was in an old economics classroom and it happened around noon. No one was in the room when it happened. School, of course, is out for the summer, but students were in the gym. They were evacuated to another room. Chattanooga Fire Department spokesperson says those students were never in any danger.
Students were in the school at the time of the fire, but they were in a different building. They were in the gymnasium. School had been dismissed for the school season, so no students were inside. Chattanooga Fire Department made quick work of the fire and contained the fire to one classroom, but there is smoke and water damage throughout this building.
The cause is being investigated. Firefighters, though, believe it was an accidental fire.
The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office says $30,000 worth of equipment was stolen from the Highway 58 Volunteer Fire Department. Deputies say it happened yesterday at the training center on Snow Hill Road. Detectives say someone forcibly entered the facility and stole the equipment, gear, and tools. Firefighters say the pieces of equipment are used in day-to-day fire and emergency operations. If you have any information on the thieves or where the equipment could be found, call the number on your screen, 209-8940.
The man accused of packing a homemade explosive device inside his backpack last week appeared in a Hamilton County courtroom today.
Police and the bomb squad had to shut down part of Highway 153 for several hours because of that device. They say 34-year-old Josh Redden was responsible. Channel 3's Tim Pham has been following this story.
Police and the bomb squad had to shut down a part of Highway 153 for several hours last week because of an explosive device they found near 34-year-old Josh Redden. This morning was Redden's first appearance in court, and we're learning new details about what happened that night. Police documents show that Redden told officers that he needed the explosive to protect himself from a gang. Police say they found Redden passed out in front of the Tennessee Title Pond. When officers approached him, they saw a large knife on his belt and were able to safely remove it without waking him. But the most startling discovery was found wrapped inside a jacket in his backpack. The officer found a silver duct tape ball with wires coming out of it. Redden confirmed it was a homemade explosive. Channel 3's cameras were rolling when the bomb squad dismantled the device.
I don't know what specific parking lot it was found in, but I do know that CVS was closed and it had been evacuated.
Police and detectives who interviewed Redden the night of the incident are expected to testify at the next court date. Redden's next hearing is scheduled for June 29th. He's being held on a $114,000 bond. Reporting in the studio, Tim Pham, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
One of the convicted felons accused of leading several police officers on a pursuit pleaded guilty. 25-year-old Marquise McReynolds and 23-year-old Jermichael Brooks are accused of stealing a car and leading police on a chase that ended in a crash. It happened in the Brainerd area. Police say the car was stolen from the Mountain View Nissan dealership. Brooks pleaded guilty to possession with the intent to distribute crack cocaine. His sentencing hearing is in late September.
In School Patrol tonight, we're learning the dates upon which the 5 candidates will be interviewed who are up for the job of Hamilton County School Superintendent. Dr. Wayne Johnson will be interviewed in person first on June 5th. Stuart Greenberg is scheduled for the following day, June 6th. Dr. Timothy Gadsden explained why he's best for the job on June 7th. It's followed by Dr. Brian Johnson June the 8th, and then current interim superintendent Dr. Kirk Kelly on the 9th. Selection of the superintendent then takes place at the June 15th board meeting.
Coming up next at 6, a North Georgia building owner and his son found a surprise, quite a surprise, while cleaning it out.
That he found the dynamite, and it was for real.
How would one go about getting rid of dynamite? Well, we'll find out and share it with you next.
Yeah, it's been a quiet weather day, rather, just warm and humid here across the Tennessee Valley. That's going to continue as we head into the weekend. I'll let you know what our rain chances are like over the next few days as well, coming up in your 7-day forecast.
Yeah, the owner of the
With coverage you can count on, This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 6.
Here's something you don't hear every day. Dynamite was discovered in a North Georgia building, and today a number of agencies gathered to get rid of it.
The building was a former store known as Goswick Store. It's been empty for years. Channel 3's Caitlin Chastain was in Murray County. Caitlin, how were those explosives found? Very carefully, I assume.
Very carefully, and let me tell you, the owner of the building tells me that he actually inherited it from the old owner. He says he and his son were cleaning out the old store. That's when they found the dynamite. Now, if you check out this video we have here, you can see just how many items were kept inside of the store. The Murray County Sheriff's Department, Fire Department, and GBI came out today. They buried the explosives and set them off. No one was hurt or injured. The owner said he was warned there could be dynamite, but didn't think the previous owner was serious.
She said there was dynamite in there someplace. And I said maybe she was just telling people that to keep them from nosing around. That he found the dynamite and it was for real.
It was real dynamite, and Whaley says the store has been closed for years, so no shoppers were in any danger. Now, the chief deputy tells me if you do find explosives, do not touch them, evacuate, and call 911 immediately. Live in the studio, Caitlin Chastain, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Caitlin, thank you. The store looked like a picker's paradise aside from the dynamite. A man who was convicted in a Grundy County murder demands a new trial. Today, a hearing was held to discuss whether Adam Brazil's request will be granted. The petition was filed last week in U.S. District Court. Brazil is serving a life sentence for first-degree murder in the 2006 death of Malcolm F. Burrows. His petition for a new trial claims newly discovered evidence proves Grundy County authorities denied Brazil a fair trial and that a jury sent the wrong man to prison.
Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6, the Highway 27 construction has been on our minds for quite some time now. And
it will continue to be, huh? But some good news. Exit 1 has been opened. It's new and ready for you to use it. Details how they hope it will alleviate some traffic jams coming up. Plus, Paul has the night off. Nick Austin is here to tell us about what's going on in the Storm Alert Center. We're especially looking toward that weekend. Sunny, shady. He has the answers. We'll be right back with a 7-day forecast.
All right, get ready for the weekend. Be sure and start your Friday morning off with us on Channel 3 Eyewitness News today. We'll tell you about how you can get free medical help this weekend.
Very important, yeah, and we have some road closures that you need to know about that are going to impact your morning commute. You can join us at what time, Latrice?
4:30. We'll see you then.
In continuing coverage, a major construction project in Chattanooga has moved into another phase.
Another of many. A live look at the new Exit 1 on Highway 27, US 27 reconstruction project. Opened the new ramp just a few hours ago. Channel 3's Tim Pham tells us what this means for drivers downtown.
You might have noticed that your commute on Highway 27 is a little bit different. That's because progress is being made in the Highway 27 reconstruction project. TDOT made a major shift in traffic today. Crews opened a new permanent exit this afternoon. This is video of the new Exit 1. The permanent ramp leads drivers to Main Street, Carter Street, and the Convention Center. You might remember the temporary exit that had a sharp curve onto Main Street. That ramp is now closed. The change will now direct traffic to the intersection of Carter Street and 13th Street, which will become a four-way stop. Because of this, TDOT is encouraging tractor trailers to use alternate routes. The $126 million project is only about halfway done. It started back in 2015. We reached out to TDOT and we're told all traffic is expected to be in place by July of 2019. Reporting in the studio, Tim Pham, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Here's another live look at the construction zone out there. Traffic is moving smoothly. Stay up to date with the progress and check out any of your traffic concerns inside the WRCB app.
Norfolk Southern is furloughing 74 employees at its DeButz rail yard in Chattanooga. Officials say this is because of a change in train operations in Chattanooga. Previously, trains would bring rail cars to the yard to be sorted by final destination, and then new trains would be assembled. Now the trains will be routed to other rail yards for sorting. The employees will have the opportunity to apply for jobs at other locations on the rail system. Norfolk Southern currently has 495 employees who work at the rail yard.
One more traffic note for you here, this one for automobiles, not train cars. Tonight, Stringer's Ridge Tunnel will be fully closed. They'll be inspecting it there. It's an annual inspection. They'll shut it down at 8 p.m. It'll be reopened in the morning at 5. Take Highway 27 as your alternate route between Red Bank and downtown in the meantime.
Don't forget, Remote Area Medical, or RAM, is having a free medical clinic at Red Bank High School this weekend. The parking lot will open at midnight tomorrow night for you to get in line. RAM volunteers will begin handing out numbered tickets at 3 Saturday morning, both Saturday and Sunday at 3 a.m. Doors will open at 6 a.m. Medical, dental, and vision services will be provided, and we have more details on our website. Now, time to check in with Nick Austin.
He has your 7-day forecast this time. How about it, Nick?
Hey, Greg and Cindy, it looks like the next couple of days rain chances will be fairly slim, but they'll go up for the second half of the weekend. We're looking now at dew points across the region. Dew point temperatures are a really good measure of the moisture in the air and especially how muggy the air feels. And we have dew points in the 60s off to the south, even low 70s across the Gulf Coast. That's pretty muggy air. But right here in Chattanooga, dew points in the 50s, that's actually fairly tolerable. It's a lot muggier when they get into the 60s and low 70s, which will probably happen for the second half of the weekend. We'll have those dew points back into the 60s and into Monday as well. So it's not too bad out there. Temperatures in the 80s for most of us until you get to Atlanta, where they've had a little more rain and cloud cover, 76 there. But here in the city, right now at 82 degrees, 77 Cleveland, 79 Dalton, up in Altamont at 78. And winds right now are pretty light, just 5 miles per hour out of the northwest here in the city. The pollen count is lower than yesterday. That's good news, down to 22. It's mostly just grass pollen at this point. And it looks like the rain and the storms that have been moving into northern Grundy County right along Highway 108, they're fading out. Just some light, maybe moderate rain showers up there. The rest of the viewing area is dry. Maryville, Knoxville getting some scattered showers and storms, a lot more of that across Atlanta and South Georgia and up into northern Mississippi. The air is a lot more humid and muggier down there, as I mentioned. So we're going to see very little chance for any rain tonight, and the clouds will be thinning out a bit. Tomorrow, maybe just an isolated shower or storm in a couple of spots, especially in some high terrain areas. That's where they'll most likely see just an isolated storm pop up, maybe along the plateau or out in the Blue Ridge, and that's the same story for Saturday. So it looks like tomorrow and on Saturday, maybe 20% of you watching us from across the viewing area will see a shower or a storm, with chances going up on Sunday. 6 inches ahead of rainfall for the year almost, so no rain today at the airport. And the highs were in the 80s again today, 85 and 62. 82 is the high in Scottsboro, as well as Dalton, Georgia, Varnell. 81 in LJ, 74 Fort Mountain. Right here at Channel 3, 87 degrees, as well as in East Ridge. And heading up north of the city, in Spring City, it was 85, Pikeville around 84, and 82 in 10 Mile. So 63 tonight. Our rain chance is really fading out now over the next few hours, heading towards sunset. A slight chance of a storm tomorrow, 89, and then 65 with some clouds tomorrow night. Again, just an isolated storm possible on Saturday, 88, and getting muggier through the weekend, especially by Sunday. Our rain chances and storm chances go up on Sunday, 50-50, and same for Monday. So it looks like if you have plans to get outside for this weekend, Saturday will definitely be the drier day with a much lower rain chance. Okay. So get your gardening and anything else, yard work and stuff done, or get the pool party in on Saturday. Because Sunday, it's going to be a little rainier.
I think Nick just invited us all to a pool party.
Sure, he did.
More details at 11, right? Thanks, Nick.
Coming up in sports, Pittsburgh has a 2-game lead over the Predators in the Stanley Cup Final.
Jill Jelnick is here for Paul Shaheen. She joins us with more. How about it, Jill?
Yeah, last night's game, not the best for the Preds, but if you take away just a couple minutes, it actually wasn't a bad game. So because the playoffs is now headed to Nashville, there is hope for the Preds. I'll tell you everything you need to know about this weekend's game. Plus, the Braves close out their series on the West Coast. I'll have all that and more when we come back. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final quickly went from hopeful to horrible for the Nashville Predators just in a matter of minutes. A 3-goal outburst to start the third period was more than enough for Pittsburgh to defeat the Nashville Predators 4-1 last night. Now the Pens take a 2-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup Final. The two clubs entered the third period locked in a 1-1 tie, but Pittsburgh exploded just seconds after the second intermission, scoring 3 goals in 3 minutes, marking the first time the Predators have lost back-to-back games during these playoffs. Despite the lopsided score, though, Nashville outshot Pittsburgh for the second straight game and put together long stretches where they outplayed the defending champs. But the Penguins just made the most of their chances.
I think the first goal of the third period, we went out there after playing 2 really solid periods, and they scored a goal in the first shift, and I think that put us on our heels for a few minutes. We've done some good things. There's 5.5 periods we really like things that we did, but there's just a stretch where they gained some momentum. They're able to capitalize and be opportunistic, and that's swung 2 games in their favor.
The Preds will now host their first 2 Stanley Cup final games in franchise history, starting with Game 3 on Saturday. If you or anyone you know is planning on going to the game or just planning to be in Nashville, it was just announced that country music singer Alan Jackson will play a free concert ahead of Game 3. The concert will start at 5:45 Eastern and be performed on Lower Broadway. Now, if you do have a ticket for Game 3 and 4, listen up, because it's time for a little more catfish fun. Little Fish's company in Germantown is offering free whole catfish to anyone who shows them a ticket to Games 3 or 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. The owner, Chris Little, says he has 40 catfish on hand right now. Another delivery of 50 to 60 is expected later today. I can't even imagine 40 fish on the ice. And speaking of that game on Saturday, Channel 3 Sports is excited to announce that sports director Paul Shaheen is headed to the Stanley Cup Final. Paul will be covering the Preds for the remainder of the playoffs starting this Saturday. He'll be live for Games 3 and 4 in Smashville, as well as Pittsburgh for Game 5 and the rest of the games, assuming, of course, the Preds can keep going in the Stanley Cup Final. So be sure to stay with Channel 3 Sports for your Stanley Cup Finals coverage all this week and next. The Atlanta Braves wrapped up their West Coast trip last night in Anaheim, California. The Angels and Braves split the first 2 games of the series, and Atlanta was hoping to close it out with a win last night in the rubber match. And Braves got off to a good start too. Top of the second, Matt Kemp takes the Jesse Chavez pitch deep to right field, his 10th home run of the season. The 1-run lead would hold at least until the bottom of the 7th, when a throwing error by Rio Ruiz brings home the tying run for the Angels. And then the Angels' Eric Young Jr. in the 8th would come up with the game-winning solo home run. Braves fall 2-1. They drop the series, but now they'll have a day off today and hit the road for Cincinnati this weekend.
Try it again.
Try it again.
Yes.
Long season.
Indeed.
Now let's find out from Nick. What about tonight?
Hey, tonight's going to be pretty nice. There's a little bit of rain way north of us up near Cagle, but other than that, we're in good shape. Here in the city, it's 82 degrees right now, and we'll be in the upper 70s around 9 o'clock, and then right around 69 at midnight. Clouds will be thinning out. Don't expect any rain, and very, very little chance. Just isolated showers tomorrow and Saturday, but watch out on Sunday. Rain chances go up. More and more neighborhoods will be getting wet on Sunday.
All right. Thank you, Nick. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 6.
Your news continues online at WRCBTV.com 24 hours a day. Nightly news is next. We'll see you back here at 11.
guess I'm going to be late, but I still want to go eat out with everybody.
Well, every day. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Mic check, Nick. I heard my mic go.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check.
Security changes coming to one Chattanooga hospital. Channel 3 investigates why and what patients and visitors will notice after Law and Order SVU.
And I'll show you when sunny skies will turn rainy again. See you on First Weather.